Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today we're going to do a new idea. Well, it's not new, it's been around for quite some time and I'm sure lots of other people have done it as well. But I'm going to use some elastic bands with a brayer and some Versamark, and then I'm going to use different coloured embossing powders to create the look. So these are the different looks that I've got, and these are the different embossing powders that I've used. And it's a really pretty effect with the elastic bands. So let me show you some of the things I've done with it. So these are just some of the ideas which I've used the backgrounds. So this is the silver one on black, and that's just a sympathy card. For this one I've cut my white embossing on a pink background with a decorated shape underneath. This one is a pink with pink embossing powder on it, and I've just cut that into a circular card and layered it with some silver. And for this one I've just added these pearl strips onto white card, and I've cut them up and added them to some acetate. So you can use a brayer of any size that you've got, and all you're going to do is take the brayer out of the holder, wrap it with the elastic bands and then pop it back into the holder. Now that's a small brayer and this is a larger one, and this is one that's already been wrapped with the elastic bands, so that's now ready to use. So for this one I'm going to use some pale blue card, I'm going to use some white embossing powder, I've got my Versamark there, and just to make sure that this sticks where I want it to stick, I'm just going to go over this with some anti-static. Now this is just talcum powder for me, and it's just in an old holder. So once we've done that, now we can get ready to add the embossing ink to our card. Now you can add your ink straight up, you can go that way, you can go at an angle, you can do both ways, you can do it any way you want. So now I'm just going to fill this with some embossing ink, and then we'll roll it up the card. So I'm only going one way and you can just see the lines on there now. So we'll repeat that process till we've filled all the card with the stripes. So there's our panel now filled with the stripes, and we'll just sprinkle this with the embossing powder. We'll take off the excess, and there we've got our beautiful piece ready now to heat. So we'll pop this back into the container, and then we'll heat set that with the heat gun. Now I'm going to turn the volume down on this because it does get very noisy. So there's my piece of card, and I'm going to cut it this way, and this is an A5 card base with the fold at the top. Now to the top of this I'm going to add a piece of acetate that will leave just a tiny border around the edges. So there's my piece of acetate now cut to the front, and for this I'm going to divide this into 1-inch strips, and I'm going to need 3 of them to go along there. Now I'm going to back these onto some silver card. So these will fit on the front of there, just a little bit shorter, and they're going to fit on the front of my card. So we'll put one on each end, that needs to be trimmed down, and we'll put one in the middle, so that we leave a small gap between each one, and these all need to be trimmed down to fit this size. So I'm going to attach these to the silver ones with some glue. and we'll leave just a small border around the edges. So once you have your equal strips backed onto your equal amounts of silver card, you're just going to add some sticky tape to the back, and you're going to place these on your piece of acetate. Now you want this as far over to the edge as you can get it, so start at the bottom, put it in place, don't worry about the top, you can always trim that down, and add your card. So that's one piece in place. Now on the other side we're going to do the other one, and then in the centre we're going to equally space those out. So once you have these in place, if you've not quite got them level at the top, you can always take some scissors and just trim that off. So once you've done that, I'm just going to wrap some ribbon around this and fasten it on the back. And now we can add some foam tape to these. So I've glued a little bow in place on there, and then from 3 circle dies that go down in size, I'm going to cut the silver, the blue and the happy birthday sentiment from each one. So once you've cut these, you can add them all together with some glue. So we'll just layer them up to leave a nice small border around all the edges. And then with a little bit of foam tape underneath there, we can add this to the card. So I won't stick it in yet, so you can put that wherever you want to add it, and then if you wanted to dress that up even more, you could add in some leaves. So I've just cut these in silver, and these are just going to sit along here. And then to the top of that we can just add in some flowers. So once you've had a dry run and you like where your flowers are going, if you want to add flowers, you may just want to leave it plain, you can add those to your card. So I've decided to add flowers into mine, but I don't like those flower centres. So into the centre I'm going to glue in a glitter ball, and that will just complete the card. So now all I need to do is dot these flowers with some glue and sprinkle them with some glitter. So there's my finished card. Now once the glue has dried, it will dry clear and it will dry flat. So all you'll be left with is the beautiful glitter shine on those flowers. So there's my card. You can keep this as plain or as fancy as you wish. You can change it into any shape that you want to do. You can add whatever backings you want. You can keep it plain if you wish. You can turn it into a sympathy card, or just leave it for a masculine card. But there you've got some really pretty ideas on how to use the technique that we've created with the rubber bands and the brayer. So the items I've used to create my backgrounds have been a brayer with some really cheap elastic bands and some Versamark. I've also used some circular dies to give me the little labels that go on the top, and it's been a really enjoyable process. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.